And welcome back to the Cities in Charlotte. You're all staying safe and well. On our player ratings show for that debacle, shambles last night, Manchester City 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2. Yes, don't disrespect a team third in the Bundesliga. We are a team third in the Premier League. Some people might say Germany's a bit of a farmers' league, but they've certainly got 4 or 5 quality teams, and we shouldn't really disrespect someone who sit third and has had the recent record that Bayer Leverkusen had. But anyway, we'll talk about that more in the story of the game. This is the player ratings. Of course, we're going to have a look at what Simon Bukowski thought of last night. And interesting enough, I'm just going to throw in a few comments and one-liners and sentences from OneFootball and Goal.com. Not usually kind to City. OneFootball's a little bit better. Goal.com a bit harsh, but both sites have come up with some cracking scores today for some of the players. So I thought I'd put them in just for a bit of fun because, I'm pretty down on the players last night, but I'm going to put a hell of a lot of the blame on Pep's shoulders for fielding basically our reserve team, which is what it was. It's as simple as that. Just one guy, really, who probably wouldn't be in our current starting 11, of course, Gonzalez, who was probably the best player on the night for City, which doesn't say much. Best of a bad bunch, unfortunately. So we'll have a look anyway, guys. Please join me and let me know your views as well. Right, hit that like button, guys. Help the algorithms. If you've got any hype points, that'll help as well. Helps me get the content out there into the ether, into the social media world. So that'd be much appreciated if you could do that for me, guys. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. City past, present, and everything going forward, of course, as long as I can keep going. So join me, and I hope you enjoy. And as I said, let me know your comments. It's all about you letting me know what's going on as well. I used to do the odd live show, don't do any at the moment, so it's just nice to get your comments of what you're feeling, etc., etc. Right, Trafford, here we go. Neither goal felt like his, said Simon. His fault, but it wasn't a convincing performance, and that was evident. Scored him a 5. Goal.com, he said, wasted an opportunity to show he is more reliable than Gianluigi Donnarumma. Well, that was never going to happen, was it? We know he's not. He's still got a lot of learning to do, Mr. Trafford, so that doesn't matter. They scored him just a 4 out of 10. OneFootball.com, he said he can't particularly be blamed for either goal, and I think I'm with that. I think someone commented he might have done better with the second, the header. But OneFootball give him a 5.5. I give him a 5. He just looked second string in a second string team, but of course it's not his fault. He's not getting the game time, is he, at this sort of level? And let's be. I know, as I said at the start of this, Bayer Leverkusen, it's a good level. It's not. We're not playing Swansea. We're not playing Huddersfield. This is what we're talking about. So he looks what he is at the moment, second string, and I give him a 5 out of 10. On to Kusanov, split opinion a little bit. Simon said some nice touches of control, but he was loose for the goal. It was an obvious sacrifice when City chased the game. Yeah, it is what it is, the goal. Again, another guy who's, I thought, did a lot of really good last night. Goal.com said of his performance, brushed out of the way by Christian Cafani, he probably was, and then didn't close down Grimaldo quick enough. I thought he closed him down as well as he could, readjusting himself. But Goal give him a 5. OneFootball.com said tried to advance the ball where he could, but movement ahead of him wasn't good enough. And that's what I don't really expect him to do, that role anyway. He's not flying forward, is he, on that right-hand side? They give him a 4 out of 10. As I said, I thought he did possibly even allowing for John Stones okay as a defender. He perhaps it turned a bit too easy, but he did sort of got his foot in a lot of times as well, sorted us out. So I'm going to give him a 5 on the basis that perhaps, he could have done better, but it wasn't a total disaster because, again, another one who's been injured and not been playing regular. So I thought it was okay. I didn't think he was that bad. On to Stonesy, Simon said comfortably the best of the defenders, although he wasn't able to push forward and influence the game. Goal.com, he scored him a 6, Simon. Goal.com said one of the few players who started who seemed to know what he was doing. Yeah, he gave him a 6 as well. But OneFootball.com said not quite his usual confident self and give him a 4.5. I thought it was okay. Didn't say anything too bad. But again, he's our senior guy. He should perhaps be getting other players motivated and moving and stuff like that. I mean, I've just given him a 5. I wasn't overly impressed with John Stones. As I say, he couldn't say any of the goals was his fault, but he couldn't say he did that much either. On to Nathan Aki. Simon said, looked rusty and was pouring the goals that City conceded, unable to stay ahead of play. Scored him a 4 out of 10. Goal.com said, didn't spot Schick. I'm sick of this. Lurking behind him when he headed in the second, scored him a 5. One Football said Schick escaped him to nod home the second and scored him a 3. Bloody hell, a 3. I'm not sure. I think I have given 3s out, and I think Manchester Evening News have in the past, but yeah, he was at fault for the goal. I've looked it back. His positioning's awful. He's not a big lad, but he's usually okay in the air, isn't he? I think he was unlucky in the first half to have a good attempt saved as well. I've given him a 4.5. I've not got as low as 3. I'll give him a 4.5, Aki. At Nori, Simon said caught where he shouldn't be for the Leverkusen opener, and there were too many heavy touches and poor passes. Scored him a 4 out of 10. Goal.com, he said he looked on a different pace to his teammates. Scored him a 4 out of 10. One Football produced a massive block to deny Bayer Leverkusen an early lead. Yeah, that was early on, wasn't it? Through Ernst Poku, and scored him a 4. Well, I think he struggled. I think he struggled to do much. So I'm going to give it, why not? Sod it. A full house of 4s. 4 4s. That's good in, what's it? What's the game where you have 4 4s? I forgot what it is now, guys. Let me know. You deal 13 cards to people. 4 4s. Anyway, and you start with, 3 of a kind and all this sort of thing. Anyway, you'll know. You'll tell me. If it comes to me before this vlog ends, I'll tell you anyway. So 4 4s for at Nori, not great. As I said, a lot of proviso on these. A lot of these guys haven't been playing regular, so the fact they're losing 1.2.3 points of the average is all Pep's fault, really. I think for playing them all together. On to Gonzalez. I've already said I thought he was our better player on the night. Simon said the only one to keep his place from Newcastle and would likely keep it for Leeds. Yeah, given he didn't do much wrong. Yeah, he probably would have kept it anyway. It's given him a 6. Goal.com said, giving City the stability in midfield when they lacked in most other areas, scored him a 6. One Football said, did look one of the few with any real rhythm, scored him a 6. Shall I make it 4 6s? Yeah, 4 6s? Yeah, I'll make it 4 6s. I thought I said it was the best of a bad bunch, simply, but again, I like my DM to do a little bit more defending, perhaps, and cutting out goals, but I'm not too sure he had too much to do with the 2 goals for Leverkusen last night. On to Oscar Bob. Simon said, took the game to Leverkusen in the opening 3 minutes and then went missing and didn't emerge after half time. Yeah, I probably agree. I thought it was about 5 minutes actually, but Simon gave him a 4. Goal.com said, playing stray final balls and making predictable runs, scoring just a 4. One Football predictably scored him a 3.5, saying hardly ever caused his fullback a problem. When he did, there was no delivery at the end. Yeah, he gave him a 3.5. For me, as I said, I agreed with Simon. He started okay, seemingly with some confidence, and then it just ebbed out of him. I'm not going to go as low as 3.5. I'll give him a 4.5 for Oscar Bob. Such a shame. Lewis, Simon said, couldn't find any way to control the game with poor decision making in the final third and no protection from Gonzalez. Scored him a 5. Yeah, Goal.com said, feels like a shadow of the player he was just 2 years ago. Yeah, it was, of course, Pep probably would hope he'd find his little pockets last night and stuff, but in a totally revamped team, I think it was hard for any of the players to get really the foot on the ball and take charge of anything. Goal.com give him a 4 out of 10. One Football rarely managed to support the forwards or get himself properly involved in the action. His 45 minutes on the pitch scored him a 4. Yeah, I did forget he was playing. I noticed him a couple of times, to be fair, but I give him a 4.5. Reinders, Simon said, went close with another effort that could and perhaps should have gone in. Otherwise, didn't help Gonzalez out enough. Scored him a 5 out of 10. Goal.com. Also a 5, wasted their best opportunity of the first half, firing straight at Flecken inside the box. One Football, who didn't like much of the performance last night, he said saw a fair amount of the ball in that left attacking half space, but really didn't do enough. Scored him a 3.5. Yeah, Reinders, didn't really notice him that much, didn't notice he did too much. He had a great chance, didn't he? They just blasted at the keeper when you think anywhere but at the keeper. But anyway, I give him a 5. Perhaps that's a bit kind actually, but I'll give Reinders a 5. But another unimpressive performance, but at least he's consistent, isn't he? That's the thing. On to the guy who's everyone's basically starting to laugh at now, which is such a shame. You can't do that. It's not right, but he is setting himself up for it. We'll talk about why I laughed at him last night almost. I think we all groaned in the stands, the fans that were still there by that time anyway. Savvy, Simon says, stayed on for the full 90 minutes, although it's difficult to highlight any meaningful contributions. Scored him a 4 out of 10. Goal were kinder. As I say, goal are usually a lot kinder, aren't they, with the match? I've noticed that today. I couldn't remember which one was. I thought it was one football, but it's certainly goal today. They said erratic, overhit passes, and his shooting was wayward. Scored him a 5. One football said beggars belief that he completed the match. It does beggar belief, yeah. 2.5. There you go, the lowest of the night. 2.5 for Savvy. For me, oh dear. I think he started poorly and got even poorer. Ended up on his arse, of course. That's when I sort of did a little chuckle at sort of towards the end, where he was bursting up the right wing with about 5 minutes to go, slipped on his arse. Yeah, didn't give it to Denver Bar, unfortunately. But anyway, I've gone hard. I've gone hard on Savvy. Having said, it's such a shame becoming a little bit of a laughing stock. But if Pep can see something in him, we'll stick with him. But for this performance, I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10 as well. Marmouche, yes, Simon said he showed more conviction trying to G up the crowd than he did leading the line, as he offered very little. He's an absolute pain in the arse. I hate that. 4 out of 10. Goal.com said did a very poor impression of leading the line and scuffed his one attempt. Give him a 5. One football said will feel hard done by at recent game time, but didn't do enough here to prove he should get more. Give him a 3.5. Well, for me, Wednesday off to AFCON, whatever it's called. I tell you what, we spent as much energy producing something for us to get excited about as he does waving like that to the bleeding crowd. I mean, he did it from game one, his first appearance. Even in a match that's got atmosphere, he'll do it. But if he put as much energy into his performances, he would be an improvement. He's not played well for a long time. He wasn't playing well for me at the end of last season after a really good start. He's another one who needs to sort himself out or get used to some sort of system. That was his sort of chance. Even if the team was crap to do something last night, he didn't. It's very disappointing. Again, fingers crossed. It's there and he'll come back. It'll come back, but perhaps playing back out on the wing again, where he's probably more effective as well as a straight replacement for Haaland. He just isn't, is he? So I give him a 4 out of 10 as well. On to the subs, O'Reilly. More solid, more running, says Simon. Give him a 6. Goal said gave the team more muscle. Give him a 5. One football said a lot of possession around the penalty area, but never really saw an opening. Give him a 5.5. Not a lot for me, really, for O'Reilly. Just a big lad. 5 out of 10 for me. He was there for a half. Foden, one nice ball through for Haaland. Simon, give him a 6 for that. Goal said sped up City's play but couldn't find any good opening. Scored him a 5. On football, did sometimes wander down cul-de-sacs. Yes, I wish I was wandering down a cul-de-sac away from the Etihad anything. 6. And what football? I'm just going to give a 5. I just didn't see any real oomph from Phil Foden. Doku looked the most likely to make something happen, said Simon. Scored him a 6. Goal.com said Leverkusen were all too aware of his threat and nullified him. Scored him a 5. One football, rare to see him so easily bested as he was by Ernest Poku. Scored him a 5. Yeah, I didn't see any real threat from Doku. A lot of his little jinks. Once or twice he looked as though he'd got through, but it never came to anything. I wouldn't say it was almost another Savvy, but it wasn't great. So I've scored him a 5. The other subs weren't on long enough for me to score, but Cherky, Simon said, forced a good save with a free kick, scored him a 6. Yeah, a save a good, decent keeper would be expecting to make, in fairness. Goal.com says, Sparks City into life when he came on, scored him a 6. One football, he needed to make better decisions in key moments and scored him just a 5. I think that's probably one of the One Football's highest scores, isn't it, tonight? Me, as I said, no score because he wasn't on for 30 minutes, but he helped up the pace, and that's what happened when the subs came on. We'll seem to move the ball quicker, a little bit more active, though it's led to sod all, did it? And finally, Haaland. Missed a decent chance, said Simon. Through on goal, scored him just a 5. Goal.com couldn't dribble around flecking or keep the ball down when taking another shot on the turn. Scored him a 6, so I think that's a bit kind from Goal.com. One Football missed some fairly presentable opportunities and scored him a 5, which I think is nearer the mark. And the thing is, I don't think he's an impact substitute. He's not a super sub. He's not a Fairclough, is he? He can't come off that bench. I think he tries too hard. I think he tries to be the big I am and look at me, I'm a hero, I'm going to save everything. And I think when he tries too hard, that's when he usually blasts it over or fluffs it. And I think he did that last night. I think he probably should have had a goal from at least a couple of half chances, but at least worried the keeper more or worried the net more. But so anyway, I don't rate him, but as I say, I don't think Haaland's that effective off the bench. Not when he, just relax, mate. Just you've got 20 minutes. Just take your time. Don't try and make it all happen at once. He's far too keen to please, like a puppy dog, isn't he, chasing around? But anyway, never mind. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let us know your thoughts. A little slight difference to the player ratings with the One Football and the Goal.com. Interested to see their views as well, and scores, of course. As I said, they usually. I knew one was usually crueler, but I thought it was the other way around. But anyway, and is it done? The game? I don't know. Is it done? Is it done? I know it's certainly not cribbage. We used to play, oh yeah, Prior of Threes. It's not done, is it? Anyway, let us know, guys, because it'll play on my mind. If the first one to let me know, yeah, I'll send you a Christmas card. Yeah, probably not, unless it's out of the country. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please tune in for the story of the game, a little bit more in depth on the match itself, rather than just the players. And very soon, of course, will be a preview for the Leeds United game, and I'll put up a Pepsi 11. And I think the Pepsi 11 for that is going to be so bloody obvious, but there's lots of other things to talk about as well, about Leeds and the bookies and stuff like that. So join me for that. Hit those buttons, guys. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit those buttons. You want a shout out on the channel, or do you want to help sponsors? We do have sponsors occasionally, stuff like that. Do you want a shout out or anything like that? Just keep watching and listening.
Thanks for that, guys. Hope you enjoyed the feature anyway, and please, if you can, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, that'd be wonderful. And if you're not already a subscriber, it'd be great if you could subscribe. It's absolutely free. Also, check out all my social media links. Will be in the description and comments below if you want to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. We can chat on there and do all things City, of course. Also, if you're into film and TV, don't forget a lot of this channel is film and TV stuff. I love me film and TV like I do City. So if you're into that, have a look. Or even someone who might not be that bothered about the football but likes film and TV, give them a kick in my direction. I'll be very grateful. And special thanks as ever to supporters of the channel. Piat 6505. They've got a little eBay shop selling film and TV memorabilia mainly, including books, magazines, posters, lots of posters, and they do have some City stuff as well that they've purloined off me over time, so there'll be a few bits and pieces, probably more going on as well. So have a look at Piat 6505 on eBay. And yes, if you do go onto eBay, and if you're a member, we do have memberships, 99p a month. You get early access to all my vlogs, so as soon as I do them, you get them. Sometimes it could be months before they're published generally, so a lot of the history stuff, so you have access. The membership gives you access to that. It gives you 10% extra off at Piat 6505 if you want to buy any of that memorabilia. That's all that you can actually gain that from being a member. And support the channel. That's a great way of supporting the channel, of course, like watching the ads on the original thing that you've seen now, on my original feature. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, also, before we go, podcasts. If you like your podcasts, I do a podcast with Mike Long in South Korea. It's called Bolt from the Blue, in our 8th season. Yeah, we've had some good fun on there. We're trying to have a bit of humour, generally look at City's games as and when we play them, have a look back. So please check out that. It's on Soundcloud, Spotify, all good places you get your podcasts from. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed everything about this feature, and you didn't mind me asking you about this at the end. And please, all I ever ask for you is to stay safe, everyone, especially you Blues.